So, Mike Swift, I got to tell you, the traffic people just drive me insane. Like, I had a lady today upset because she was going slow and I went around her and she's like
hmm
screaming at me. I'm like, why are you mad at me because you're going slow in the left lane and I went around you? Like, how does that make me the bad guy?
Well, you're always the bad guy.
I did. I mean, this time I kept my body language to myself too. I didn't say anything. I just looked forward and kept going.
No, you didn't.
I did. Old me would have threw a couple of firm gestures in her direction, mouthed a few words, but I didn't do that today. I'm like, nope, you know what? I'm not going to fall into your trap. You're trying to bait me into road rage. I'm not road raging. I'm just driving right by you. You're not going to break my stride.
She's not going to slow you down either.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Got to keep on moving.
Oh, yeah, see how you walked into that.
I did.
Or did you drive in?
I don't know.
That was way too easy.
There's some young kid going, why are they laughing? Is that like some
Right.
song or something?
Let's be honest. There are no kids listening to this show.
This is true. This is true. All right. It is what's on your mind. He's Mike Swift. I'm not. I am Stephen Lewis. We're a couple of middle-aged jaded radio people that talk about things that have no bearing on anybody else's life but our own, but it is what it is.
It's just a forum for us to sit here and bitch. And I'm okay with that.
Pretty much. Which brings me to today's subject. You are up first, so by all means, bitch away.
Where do I begin? There are so many topics on my mind. I actually have multiple topics this week. I think my music topic, I'm going to put a pin in just because I want to do a little more. Like I had notes here on my dry erase board, and I'm showing you because and you notice it all got rubbed off. So
I too have a dry erase board, but I don't have any room on my wall for it.
Which the new place looks. I like the new area there.
It's brighter. It makes me feel better. My dog likes it, so that's the important thing. And you and I found out how concrete walls work. One thing's for sure: the flat screen TV is not coming down.
Or I'm very very afraid of the day that it does. God, I hope it doesn't. But so Steven and I helped Steven move into his new place last weekend, or I helped him move his TV rather, and mounting the TV on the wall was an experience. Just to set the table, I refused to mount my own TV in my own home. I looked at it for maybe 2 seconds and went, nope, calling a professional because my house is over 90 years old. And so therefore I have like concrete and mortar. It's disgusting. So I refuse to try. But your apartment, my God, it was drywall, then a layer of concrete, and Stephen and I went to drill. Yeah, and then a quick trip to the hardware store, which incidentally just was up the street. So
yeah, I went to drill through the wall. Bang! I'm like, drill bit's hitting something. Oh, that's concrete. So we went and got the right tool for the job, and I drilled a hole. And damned if the TV is not on the wall and sitting there in perfect condition.
I was very fearful that he was drilling through the other side of his apartment wall at one point, but
I didn't.
He didn't.
I would have went with the industrial sized bolts I wanted to go with, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, probably so. Anyway. All right, so what's been on my mind is I don't know what even a fitting word to use anymore to describe our current government and the choices that are being made left and right. You know what? It's even beyond the choices at this point. I don't understand how there is so much support yet.
Okay.
With just the choices that are being made. You still have, the loyal standby red hat guy that feels that he's doing a great job. And I can't help but to ask, doing what? Like, I really don't, I personally don't know anyone who is benefiting from any of the choices that have been made from our government so far. Not one.
I struggle with this because I understand the plight. I understand the plight of both. I mean, if we're being honest, the entire government system has been really hard on everybody for, let's say, the last 12 years, being realistic, 10 to 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Pandemic is some of that. That was a global changing thing that definitely contributed. But what I'm not okay with is, and this is going to lead into my topic, so I'll save part of what I'm not okay with. But I understand that there are certain offices and certain positions that are supposed to command a level of respect. But if the person holding those offices shows no respect for anybody, then why should I respect you? And that goes for any walk of life. I don't care if you're the mayor of whatever town you live in, if you're the manager at whatever restaurant you eat at, or if you're, the leader of the free world. Like the way in which you talk to someone, and I can't. We'll take the media for example. If the reporter doesn't say something you like, okay, piggy, or okay, this. Like if there was a guy and some guy, I don't care who he is, talk to your wife like that, that dude would be sucking food out of straws for months.
Mm-hmm.
And why we're okay with that is beyond me. I don't get it. Like I
just don't understand how and you just one human being can and then what blows my mind is you've got some of the I don't want to use the term religious freak, but some of the more religious people who are treating other people unjustly and then want to say that they are religious people. That doesn't make sense to me. How you can treat someone in particular who might be trans or gay or a lesbian or whatever and sit around and then turn around and say that you're a Christian or that you walk with God. I'm not the most religious person in this world, but I do know enough to know that the two don't go in hand. You don't treat someone a particular way just because they are someone who is different and then say that you are a holy person.
The Christians that I grew up with, and I'm a big fan of religion. I always have been. But I've also been someone who believes it's not the type of religion that you want to put yourself towards as much as it is your relationship, with whoever you feel your higher power is. And like when I was in high school, I was very much lost for a lot of reasons and a lot of things. And the kids who were doing Bible studies and youth groups, gave me something I needed at the time. And it's carried with me into my adult life. And when I've had the opportunity to speak to kids, whether they've needed some kind of counseling or whatever, not that I'm a counselor by any stretch of the imagination, I have always said, if you are a young person and you're trying to find yourself and find some acceptance, find the kids that are religious, because for the most part, they will welcome you in if they're truly following what that belief is.
Mm-hmm.
They will welcome you in from whatever walk of life you had come through before. And there's something about that I think has somehow got lost. And again, I know there are people that will argue that, the Bible says gay is wrong. Okay, sure. But the Bible also says, cheating on your wife is wrong. But there's a whole hell of a lot of that going on. The Bible also says, don't worship false idols. There's sure as hell a lot of that going on. So my problem with the government, and this has been an ongoing problem for years, don't bring the Bible into things when it's convenient for you.
That's kind of my point.
You either bring it in all the time or you bring it in none of the time, but you don't bring it in when you feel it fits your cause, because that doesn't play with me at all. And
no.
So but I don't understand that either, because, Jesus teaches you if you see someone in trouble or hurt, you should help. You should offer your hand and help. Yet sometimes there are people that want to condemn the person that's hurt and the person that needs help and the person that you don't necessarily understand because it's your lifestyle. I'm thankful that when I was growing up, I'm thankful for where I grew up, because my godmother was an African-American lady. So I learned at an early age to accept people who didn't look like me. And that was fine too. And I think that the whole world could learn the lesson character over color, because there are examples of piss poor character with multiple colors. That's not exclusive to just one particular color or another. And, so I understand where you're coming from. A lot of what goes on bothers me. And I don't like the fact that you learn what your parents learn. You grow up using those words. And right. I think what's happened in the last 10 to 12 years, and it actually probably started when President Obama took office, social media combined with that gave those people a platform. And they found that, they weren't necessarily alone. And I think that's a shame, because I don't think any of that's done us any favors. I think if anything, it's set us back.
But I agree. I think social media has been the vehicle for hatred and all things negative. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some good things that have come with it too, but
it was designed to connect, but I think it's done more separation and breaking than it has connecting.
I agree with that 150 billion%. To even reference what you were talking about there, you were kind of paraphrasing, if you will, for a moment, is Matthew 25:42 through 45. For I was hungry and you gave me food. For I was thirsty and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger and you did not welcome me. Naked, you did not clothe me. Sick in prison, and you did not visit me. They also will answer me, saying, Lord, when did you see me hungry or thirsty, or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison, and did not minister to you? Then I will answer to them, saying, truly I say to you, as you did not do it to me, or I'm sorry, as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. There you go. I can read. It was small text, but
I understand.
But yeah, nonetheless, it's that saying, if you're mistreating people, you're mistreating me. And I think a lot of Christians especially forget that.
No, and I had a problem, I questioned a lot about religion the girl I used to be with used to make fun of me because, oh, you're so Catholic. No, I grew up Catholic. I did, but I didn't walk around, and I haven't for years, 100% practicing the Catholic faith to the letter, because when I got I started when I was the most lost in my life, which probably would have been in high school going into my freshman or sophomore year into college. When I was super lost, I went to church because whatever the pastor was saying, I wanted something that could apply to my life, to give me any kind of guidance that I would, need at 17, 18 years old or whatever. So that's the type of churches that I sought out. And when I found someone who delivered that kind of message that I want to hear, that's where I necessarily That's what I gravitated to more than the Catholic Church. Then fast forward to college, because I had learned that, you must know Jesus to find your way into heaven and be saved. But in college, I really questioned that a lot. And I started, not conspiracy theories, but you start thinking, well, what if I was marooned on an island and I never came into contact with anybody who taught me about Jesus? Would I be condemned to die in hell because I was stuck on an island? That's not my fault. If God's so merciful, why is he going to condemn me to hell for my lack of knowledge? So I started questioning situations like that, which led me to take a class in college called Non-Western Religions. And it was the most eye-opening class that I've ever had, because whatever religion you call yours, that's fantastic. But every religion in the world has the same basic story, with just some things that are almost different cultural adaptations. There's always a higher power and there's always a prophet figure in almost every religion in the world. And it made me think that I'm like, wait a minute, if I grew up in Japan, there would be a good chance that I would be a Buddhist, just because that's what I knew. Yet you're going to tell me that now my religion is wrong because it's not your religion. So I questioned a lot of stuff ever since then, which led me more into, hey, it's more about your relationship than it is. A church isn't a building. A church is what you carry with you in your heart.
Okay. I can agree with that.
And you don't necessarily, and if someone doesn't understand what you think or you believe, well, it's not for them to understand and what you think or believe, but it's also not their place to condemn you for what you think or what you believe. I mean, if you're going to be like, we're all very judgmental, yet at the end of the day, we're not going to be the ones that are judging. Like, it's just, they'll be whatever
you're right.
Whatever your higher power is going to take care of that job for you. And you're not going to have much of a say in it at the end of the day. Like me, I know that there's not a mansion in heaven in my future. I'm probably going to go someplace warmer, but I feel like I will spend my days in that someplace warmer, feeling like I got a sunburn that I can't get rid of. Whereas there are other people that will probably be on display being spit roasted for their entire remains of that time in their warmer place. So I kind of feel like that's where I fall into, kind of thing.
So you believe that there are degrees.
Absolutely. They're like, you're
like levels.
You're not, right, exactly. You're not bad, but you're not good. But you're not so bad that you deserve misery your entire life. You just deserve lifelong irritation. So, that's kind of what I'm holding out for. And I might be wrong. It could be the opposite. You could go to hell and they could be like, dude, you did a lot of bad shit up there. Congratulations. Here's your seat over here. You, well, you're here for our amusement. Welcome to the spit roaster. So, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. That's a very interesting take on hell that I've never. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't sit here and say you're wrong.
I mean, here's my thing. Nobody's been there, come back and told the tale.
Right. You're definitely correct in that statement. I can agree with that. And I've got to also admit that this conversation took a very hard religious turn that I did not anticipate. I wasn't trying to make, but it just went that way. But but yeah, that's interesting that you feel like, hey, there's no hope for me, but it might be. At least it should be not quite as bad as maybe some other guy that did a little worse than me. Maybe
that's kind of what I'm leaning towards.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. So, again,
but.
This is all going to tie into what I'm talking about today too, because I know that I've made mistakes. Hell, I probably made a slew of them yesterday when I thought nobody was watching.
Okay, now I don't want you to answer that question. Let's
what question is that?
Nothing. I didn't ask a question. But the honestly, the point of my what's on my mind was just simply state that I just can't understand the nature of screw ups and faux pas and cover ups and everything else, and there still be a base behind it. I just don't understand. And
Um,
I guess it's something I'll never understand because I don't know if I even want someone to try and explain it to me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I get it. And again, I understand there are people that absolutely love what's going on in the world right now. Like, I don't think, I think part of the problem is, and I think whether you like them or not, you cannot tell me that everybody that has government positions that they have right now are qualified for the jobs that they have.
I feel the
And
majority of them don't. And I don't understand
and I,
how that even
I
plays
think
out to
that
people.
the difference between this time and the last time is the last time there were people that went, hey, wait a minute, you might need to think about this. This time
Hmm.
around, it's anything you want, whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, I think the last time it was more like, should we do this? Can we do this? It was a little more careful and particular. Now it's like, well, psh, I'm going to do it and nobody's going to stop me. You know,
Right.
it just feels like that it's more that than last time.
No, I agree.
And I wouldn't have anything to say if promises were kept and things were getting done. At the end of the day, I would be more okay with just going, you know what? But at least taxes are down for everybody, or our healthcare system is a little better intact, or you know what I mean? Something.
Right.
But there's nothing that I can say. Well, at least this happened. At least you know something. There's nothing, and it doesn't make sense how there's still a cheering section.
No, I don't understand that at all. Like, I wish I understood that, but I don't. So I understand what's on your mind.
And with that, I will go ahead and yield.
What's on my mind kind of goes into a little bit of what's on your mind. There's a word that has been stuck in my head for probably a couple of months now, and it drives me crazy because I don't see much of it anymore. And that word is accountability.
Hmm.
We live in a world now where no one can just admit that they handled something poorly, they did something wrong, or their place or blame in dispute in things. They just want to know. It's easier to play the victim, and I'm sure there's probably somebody that's going to listen to this and say you're guilty of this, and you might be right. But of all the things that I've gone through in the last year and a half or 2 years or 3 years or whatever, I'm very much aware of what role I played in all of it. And I hold myself accountable for a lot of the things that I've done from a job standpoint. You know, like there are a couple of times where I go, okay, well, this just wasn't my fault. Like Indianapolis is a perfect example. When it came to towards the end of my tenure in Indianapolis, I was in a situation where I was told to do one thing, even though I knew in every deep down aspect in the cockles, the subcockles, every region in me knew that it wasn't going to work and it was the wrong play. But I had to do it. So I was powerless to stop it. I also knew that when that happened, if I did it and it didn't work, I was going to be held responsible for it not working. If I would have done it my way, I was going to be held responsible for not doing it the way they wanted to. So I was damned if I do, damned if I didn't. And as soon as that conversation happened and I knew what we were doing, I knew the clock was ticking. It was just inevitable because I was powerless to do anything about it. And my problems that I know, one of my faults is I don't do well playing by the rules. I'm someone who I've always been a maverick. Even when we were in Michigan and you worked under me, I did things 90% of the way that I wanted to do them. But my reasoning behind that was I was successful. And until I failed, I was going to do it my way until I failed. And that was part of the problem, because if I do it my way and it fails, I'm very accepting of that, because okay, cool. What I did wasn't good enough. I'll do better next time. If I do it your way and it fails, and then you come to me and you say, oh, well, you failed. No, I didn't. You did, because I did what you said. So, I know that doesn't work in a lot of situations. And that's probably one of my big problems, which is what I hold myself accountable for. That's who I am. But even when you and I worked for another company here in Ohio, like everything I wanted to do, there was no way it was going to be done. And the stuff that we were doing was working until it became so corporate that it had to be done a certain way. And it was just, again, the clock started ticking, like inevitable. And so like, accountability is my word and my thing, that no one can seem to accept the fact that, they have any kind of blame in something. It's just easier to find someone to be the villain in their story. And I know that I'm the villain in someone else's story, and it is what it is. But when you're talking about our leaders right now, accountability is a word that is just not there. I think part of the problem and part of the reason that there's so much bad press with this guy is he is fucking incapable of saying, I made a mistake. Like everything has to be perfect, and nobody does that. Like we'll take the reflecting pool for an example. For those who don't know, every monument in that city is under 24/7 surveillance. Every one of them. So to think for a second that someone climbed in a fucking 3 football length pool of water with a box cutter and slashed a 350-foot trench into it, like, is just fucking stupid. Just say, hey, we thought this was going to look a certain way. The contractors did a bad job. It didn't look this way. We probably shouldn't have drove on it when we drove the motorcade there. We're going to fix it. That's all you have to say. And you know what? You probably wouldn't be hearing the words reflecting pool every 20 minutes. Like it would have just, hey, everybody makes mistakes. And I'm cool with that. So like it just say, hey, this didn't go as planned. We messed up. We're going to bring people in to fix it. I'm sorry. And move on. You can't. And and that's what I think the problem is. Does this guy do some good stuff for people? Yeah. But you know what? It goes unnoticed because of all the bad garbage that comes out of there. And it was the same thing under not just this president, it's the same thing under any president that's been in office for probably the last 50 years. You harp on the bad and you don't say much about the good, unless the good is just so good that you have to, because it's just over encompassing. And there hasn't been that.
Not at all, and it just, I wish there were just better things that we could say about our government, and
sure.
and I wish there was a better solution.
Well, I'm with you on the promises thing, because I would have liked things to have gotten better. I really truly would. But there are people that got bounced off their healthcare and lost their jobs, but we can spend $80 billion on a war we shouldn't have been in. And do not at me and say Iran was 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon. Iran has been 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon for 50 fucking years. Like that's not a valid excuse. Like it was a stupid thing to get involved in, and we're set, and this was against the promise of what people wanted. The biggest thing that people wanted were lower costs, America first, and no new wars. And where are we? Not one of those things.
I truly believe that Iran deal, the one that's in place, for the one that's here now, I think that whole thing came into play because of whose name was on the original deal. And I think there was nothing else because there was nothing better about this deal. We spent more money, got less out of it, and people died. Americans died over it.
Well, yeah, we should have never been involved in this. But again, this goes back to what I said earlier. You have the wrong people in charge of stuff that should not be in charge of anything. Pete Hegseth, but shouldn't be a fucking general manager of a Walmart, let alone the fucking Secretary of Defense. Like, it just, like, you have all these unqualified people. And I'm not saying I'm a qualified person by any stretch of the imagination. But if you look back at history, it's always smarter to surround yourself with people who are better at certain things than you are. Like, and that have more experience in certain things. We don't live in a world where you can not count experience. And I think that's part of the problem. You just want loyalty and you could care less about experience. And I think that was the difference, last time around. And it's just it's very frustrating that we're probably going too political with this, but I just mean
probably
people in general just cannot say, hey, I messed up. Like, it's so much easier just to go, I screwed up, I'm sorry, I'll do better next time, and learn from the mistake instead of, nope, wasn't me. Vandals,
I agree with you.
100%. Contractors. Like, it's always, finding someone to blame so you don't have to take accountability for anything. And that's what's on my mind. That's frustrating to me because, again, I wear my mistakes on my sleeve, whether you want to believe it or not. Like, I just do. I know you can't insult me. You can't tell me what's wrong with me because I already know. I'm over opinionated. I probably should be in better shape than I am. I don't play by the rules when I should play by the rules. And, I'm selfish. I know that. I used to be far more selfish, which sucks because I like that guy better. But, it is what it is. Like, it's just, it's frustrating that people just can't say, I made a mistake in any aspect of life.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And it's our just the way we're headed as a society. And this seems to be the theme of all of our podcasts in the end. The way that our society just is headed, it scares the crap out of me because.
And I see people too that go, if this is what you voted for, unfriend me now. Stop. Like, that doesn't help. Like, again, hey, I thought this was, I talked to a guy the other day that I ran into, that I'd known years ago. And, he's like, man, I wish I wouldn't have done that. You don't let somebody have their own opinion. They're entitled to it. Let somebody make their own choice. They're entitled to it, but hope they learn from the next time around instead of condemning them for all the wrongs that they've done, because if that was the case, there'd be a lot of crosses with people on them all over the place if we were condemning people for all the wrongs they've done, whether they want to admit to it or not. So
I would agree with that.
Anyway, that's what's on my mind. And I know I've pissed some people off, and feel free to go ahead and at me. It is what it is. You're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change yours, but we can still be friends and have disagreements because that is how things work in my world.
That's how it's supposed to work in this country, and you can at me. I don't care.
Right. Unless you steal from me or cause me physical harm, whatever, I don't care. Or you do something so egregious I can't look past it. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. Just understand, if you at me, I'm going to clown you.
And that's
I think which is but my thing is and I posted something like this about this some months ago. Listen, I don't come into your house and trash your decor. Don't step into mine and talk about mine, and we'll be friends. We'll be cool.
That's fair.
I mean, we'll be friends either way, but just understand, if you come into my world talking ish, it's gonna get clowned on.
Sometimes I at you just because, like,
well,
I've got nothing better to do.
Yeah. And that's when, I block you and
I know. Hey man, you blocked me again. Oh, sorry.
Oops. Sorry.
It's like,
my guy.
It's like when Ricky Bobby and Cal Naughton Jr. are talking, and he calls me, asks the question because he wants to know how to use the TV. How do you run the stereo?
Hey man, how do you run the stereo and the radio at the same time? Was it the stereo and the radio?
Why am I talking to you? I don't even like you.
Wait a minute. Fine. Why would you even want to listen to the radio and watch TV at the same time? I don't know. Why am I even talking to you?
Right. I'll call you.
I probably. Okay. You can at me about messing up that line, but
it's okay. I saw it the other day. It was on Comedy Central, so it was all cut up, and I'm like,
so it's all water
swear words. Like,
yeah, it's what honestly my favorite Will Ferrell movie, because there's not a lot of them.
Oh, I love them all.
Just gonna be honest, do not love them all, but seriously, Talladega Nights is probably one of my top comedies. I love that movie.
See, I like Talladega Nights, but Step Brothers is my jam.
You're gonna hate me.
Oh, don't even do it. If you're gonna say what I think you're gonna say, I would reach through this computer screen and punch you in the face.
I'm gonna have to admit, I've never seen Step Brothers, just because.
Oh, okay. I can live with that. I say you don't like Step Brothers. I was gonna be like,
no, it's not that. It's not that. Especially, and I think now I could probably go back and watch it, but at that time when the movie came out, I could not stand Will Ferrell.
Oh, Step Brothers is fantastic. It's just an excuse.
I know
that whole movie is just an excuse for him and John C. Reilly to swear to every other word, but it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've just never seen it all the way through. And what I've seen is, it's funny, but I just never actually watched it.
Free to at him for not seeing Step Brothers. That's a that's a criminal act.
Yeah,
criminal.
I'll wear that badge of honor.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm slightly disgusted by this. I'm not gonna lie. Really hurts. I mean, you're entitled to your choices, bad as they may be. So, hopefully by next week you've watched Step Brothers and we rectify this situation.
Well, I'll work on it.
Okay. If you haven't seen Pain and Gain yet, you should watch that too.
Oh, of course I've seen Pain and Gain.
Good to know. Good. All right. We're halfway there.
All right. With that, feel free to add us and follow us and like us and all that good stuff on the socials. We're out there. Yep. Except I think on X I am Wolverine in Ohio.
Oh.
Something like that.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool screen name, dude.
It's true.